What's going on, wrestling fans? It is I, Steve Fall, and welcome to 10 Count, just audio today. But on today's edition, it's a mock draft, and I have, from Lucha Libre Online, the Demon Diva herself, Isa. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. You forgot Wrestling Inc. You know I'm everywhere. So Wrestling Inc., Lucha Libre Online, my own YouTube channel, the Demon Diva.
You are everywhere. I apologize, folks. She is going to stab me when I see her in Puerto Rico during Backlash, Bad Bunny versus Damian Priest. That's your main event, but we'll find out. But today, we're doing a mock draft because we're celebrating. It's happening, folks, a 2-day event. The draft is coming. Triple H has made it so, and today we're going to decide to pick 10 people from different shows. Now, here's the rules for this mock draft, though. Factions count as one pick. You can pick one person from that faction if you want, but that's dumb as hell. Or you can pick a tag team, or just pick one person from that tag team, which again is dumb as hell. But that will happen on Friday and on Monday in the WWE. Someone will be like, I'll pick Otis, but not pick Chad Gable. That's dumb. But today we're doing that, and I'm going to allow you, since you're the guest on 10 Count, to pick first because I already know your first draft pick, so I don't want to pick them myself because I know you'll hurt me when I see you face-to-face in Puerto Rico for Backlash. So, you are SmackDown, I am Raw. You will go first. Who is your first draft pick?
I am happy to report that Roman Reigns and the Bloodline are staying on Friday night.
The entire Bloodline.
Yeah, I'm keeping the Usos, and I'm keeping Solo and the Tribal Chief.
Oh, the Wise Man, I hope?
Yeah, him too.
He's allowed, the belt holder.
He's allowed.
He is the belt holder. All right. Well, I'm going to, since you picked the whole faction first, I did have a single star to go first, but I think I'm going to go with the faction as well. They were going to be number 2, but they are number 1 now in my heart. It's Judgment Day. I am picking the entire Judgment Day as my number 1 pick. The SmackDown Women's Champion, Rhea Ripley, the man himself, Dom, future Hall of Famer, Dom. Finn Balor, former Universal Champion, first champion actually, and Damian Priest, the man who should main event Backlash against Bad Bunny. So Judgment Day is my number 1 pick. Now, in reality, do you think the Bloodline will stay actually on SmackDown and Judgment Day will?
Yeah, I think they're gonna split them. I think they're gonna split the Bloodline.
Wow.
I think Roman Reigns will be selected as a single star, which is what I was going to do until you made the rules. And you were like, well, you can pick a full faction. Then I'm like, okay, well, then I'll just take the Bloodline. I'll be dumb to just take Roman since he comes with a faction, right?
Yeah.
But I will say Judgment Day was my next pick. So you knew exactly where to go. You knew where to go.
Of course. I'm not dumb. I know who you are. All right.
Yeah.
But Judgment Day, I think, is going to end up on SmackDown in reality because you have Rhea Ripley, the SmackDown Women's Champion. I don't want the situation when the New Day and the Street Profits, I think it was them, they actually were champions and just handed each other the belts to swap brands.
Oh, my God. We do not need a title swap segment. No. Please don't do that.
No. So who's your number 2 pick?
All right, I am going to go with, I'm going to make this, it's a single star, and I'm going to make this pick based on the new announcement. I think that some people are going to go after the World Heavyweight Championship. I think that this person should be the one that eventually dethrones Roman Reigns. So I need them in the same brand for that, and that's going to be Seth Rollins.
Oh, yeah. I had a feeling that was going to be your pick. He
You know me. I mean, you know me for as long as I liked wrestling, so you know
this is
what
true.
I'm going to do.
This is true. You're a Shield fan. True and true. But in reality, I think Seth Rollins needs to go on SmackDown for real. I know that everyone wants him to become the first ever WWE new World Heavyweight Champion. But in reality, like, he needs a fresh start on Raw.
Yeah, he does.
He's just been floundering for so long, and I think he needs a new start, for me at least. But
I agree.
We'll have to see. I'm going to go with a single star for Raw, and it's the man who probably is not going to become the first ever WWE World Heavyweight Champion because they want to see me cry one more time, just like I did on night 2 of WrestleMania. It will be the Nightmare, Mr. Cody Rhodes. Yes.
Okay, nice, excellent choice. I do expect Roman, Seth, and Cody to be within the top 3 picks of whatever brand they go to.
Of course. I think it'd be really weird if like suddenly like number 10 is Cody Rhodes. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What's happening here?
Yeah. Yeah, Cody still has that sympathy. The crowds love him. The kids love him. He's doing a lot of good stuff. Great person to have on your brand. And since we now established that the World Heavyweight Championship is going to Raw, because I'm keeping Roman, I can see him becoming a top contender for that title pretty fast.
It'll be like that time Gable Stevenson was like a top 10 pick in the draft, and everyone's like, what?
Joe, remember that? We
What?
haven't seen him.
Him? Okay, sure. All right. Number 3, who is your third pick for SmackDown? Is it not? It's Gable Stevenson, right?
It is not.
Oh, okay.
I am going to go with Bianca Belair.
Bianca Belair. Okay. Wow. On SmackDown. So in reality, in our world, you are going to have a belt swap. Yeah. Oh, yes. God. Oh, God.
Hopefully it goes a lot smoother than the last time.
Hopefully. Yeah, that last time.
Bianca has been incredible, but I think that the women's division of Raw, I mean, she's already fought everyone. It's starting to feel a little stale. Like you said, it's the same we said. They've been on Raw for the exact same amount of time. They need a little bit of a reset. So why not let Bianca go to SmackDown and start over?
So do you think, from what you just said, you think Bianca is going to defeat Io Sky at Backlash then?
I do. I think Bianca, I mean, it will be a shocker and it will be nice. We'll be watching it together in Puerto Rico. How crazy. But I just don't see Bianca losing anytime soon, honestly. Bianca is giving me John Cena vibes in the women's division, and I don't think we have that. You know, I know we used to say it with Bayley, but it was the babyface kids like her factor. Bianca really gives me those vibes, and I just don't see her losing anytime soon.
Agreed. All right, my third pick is going to be a faction. It's going to be the Intercontinental Champion Gunther.
Come on.
With his comrades. Imperium is my third choice here because, again, you got to think about championships. You got to think about gold, and you don't want to end up on a show with no titles like it happened many years ago in 2002. It was awkward. It was awkward for a lot of people.
I love how you are literally a walking wrestling encyclopedia. I told you that since I met you. I love how much you know because I would have not known that fact.
Oh my God. And what's even stranger is in 2002, Maven, the Tough Enough winner, was in the top 10 because he had the Hardcore Championship. They're like, oh, well, we need a title, so we'll do that. So yeah, it was lame as hell, but here we are now. Imperium is my third choice. We are in round 4. Who do you have on SmackDown?
I am going to go with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn current tag team championship. What, you brought it up? You need championships,
you do
right?
need
you
champions.
Just took Gunther from me, so
yeah. Yes, this is true. They were going to be my my list keeps changing because I wrote down 10 in a row, and I'm like, well, this is changing
You started mine with a change. I had Judgment Day number 2, and you took them from me. I thought you were going to pick Cody. I was like, you swerved me.
Now, what's funny is you say that because I had Cody as my first pick. Judgment Day was number 2, but knowing you, I had a suspicion that you would go Bloodline Judgment Day if I went Cody because you don't want to pick Cody for some strange reason in your draft. I bet he's low on your totem pole on your list.
He's not actually on the original list that I have made. I had him at number 5.
Number 5. Okay.
You know what? I just want to make it clear for people that watch me. A lot of people think that I have something against Cody. I don't. I like Cody. The problem is that ever since he came to WWE, he's been targeting my favorites. Steve, who are my favorites? Roman, Seth, and Brock. Who has he feuded with? Roman, Seth, and Brock. So it's nothing against Cody. He just needs to feud with people I don't love. That's it.
I know. He defeated Seth Rollins 3 pay-per-views in a row.
Mm-hmm.
3.
As a matter of fact, if you watch my WrestleMania reaction, as crazy as I went when he came out, the first thing I said is, I'm still rooting for Seth, though. So, like, I'm the one thing I've always been is consistent in who my favorites are.
Yeah, no, that's true. I'm not saying you haven't been. I just think it's crazy that they would have Seth lose 3 in a row. Like, and that's the weirdest thing is everyone's like, oh, he deserves this and he deserves that. It's like, yeah, well, he got a lot of. He beat Matt Riddle in that random run and a very specialty match. I think that was Extreme Rules, if I'm correct, when Bray Wyatt came back.
The fight pit that nobody cared about because everybody was waiting for Bray.
Right. Yeah, that's a very very unfortunate. So since we're talking about championships and since I'm just going to be a dick about it, I'm going to pick Austin Theory for my 4th pick.
I hate you.
Because championships matter here. So now I technically have the Intercontinental title in the U.S. Championship and hopefully the first ever WWE World heavyweight champion here on Raw, Cody Rhodes. So we'll have to see. That's so far away from now. May 28th, I believe, is the date for Night of Champions in Jeddah. So we'll have to see how that goes down. I looked into attending that event, a 19-hour flight, and then I said, no, thank you.
No, that's
no,
too much. That's too much.
Living a day on an airplane, that's too much for me. I'm sorry.
You draw the line somewhere.
Yeah, I don't mind going to Saudi Arabia. I mind being on an airplane for 19 hours. That's where I draw the line. So in reality,
yeah, and you gotta stop somewhere, and it's probably gonna be a long layover too. No. It's a crazy travel day for like 2 days. You gotta take that trip for like a week or two to make it worth it.
Yeah, it's not worth it. But in reality, there we go. So now we have some championships on both sides of the table here. Let's go to round number 5. Who do you got?
I've been very high on this person. I'm going to go ahead and draft the first NXT pick, and I'm bringing Grayson Waller.
You piece
over
of shit.
SmackDown.
God damn you.
I love doing this.
He was low on my totem pole. He was number 10. I had him originally as number 10. And do you actually see him being brought up this time around?
He's so good. He's so good. Imagine the Grayson Waller effect on the main roster. The people tuning into Instagram, like it's gonna be crazy.
I think he belongs on SmackDown. He needs to be protected. SmackDown's like it's a 2-hour show, so it feels like you're well protected on that show because you're always showcased if you're actually on that show. Raw, it's like a mixed bag of nuts. Like you have no idea who's going to be on TV this week, who's not going to be on TV this week. SmackDown, very consistent, and that's why I think SmackDown is an easier show to watch than Raw. 3 hours versus 2, obviously.
Agreed.
But now let's pause for a minute because we talk about Grayson Waller coming up. Everyone thinks Cora Jade and Pretty Deadly, who just got murdered on NXT this past Tuesday.
Literally,
we saw it. We they didn't show the bodies go in the water, but there was suggestions that they were dumped in the water. So it seems that people are very keen on NXT call-ups. Dragunov is one of them I keep hearing about. Cameron Grimes, which I don't care about. So there's a few people who look to be coming up, but in reality, there are people who aren't even used on the roster that are on there right now. Aaliyah, for instance, jumps out at me as someone who got called up, did some cool stuff, and then did nothing. So in reality,
they did nothing with her. Yeah.
No, she did beat Natalia and she had a T-shirt for a little while.
Yeah, she got the tag team championships with Raquel for like a week.
Yeah, good for her. See, no one even remembers that. That's how sad that was. All right, moving on though. I'm going to go with someone who recently is taking a step back, but I believe she is the greatest women's wrestler on the roster, even if she's not there now. The Queen, Charlotte Flair. I am picking her as my number 5 on my list because I don't care what you say about any other women's wrestlers. She is up and down the best.
She is 1,000%. There's no denying that.
No, she is the Roman Reigns of the women's division when she shows up. So eat it.
Well, excellent. I don't think anybody should question that pick.
No,
that's a great pick.
I agree. Thank you for agreeing with me. Round number 6. Who you got?
I'm gonna pick Becky Lynch. She's gonna stay with that.
Oh yeah. Oh, you're going with the online. How everyone, so like Madcap and Emma will be on the same show, and Rollins and Lynch on the same show. I guess Corey Graves and Carmella have to stay on the same show. Not gonna pull some crap like they did again back in the day. Where they're like, "Oh, I'm sorry, you're married. Well, now you're split up."
Well, not because of Seth. I mean, Becky is up there with Charlotte for me as far as when we talk about the greatest. I don't think having Becky Lynch in your roster is gonna hurt anybody. So it's a good pick.
Well, plus the first ever SmackDown on Fox, it was her and The Rock in the ring together. So in reality, she's still very popular, but I think she's fallen a little bit from that point till now. But still, great pick. My pick, technically, I guess it's a faction. I'm going with the Brawling Brutes. You got 3 men there. Because I love Sheamus. I love me some Ridge Holland. And, we're going to call him Pete Dunne. We're going to call him Pete Dunne here on the show, on the 10 count. He is Pete Dunne. I don't care what your name is. But, yes, at least he lost his suspenders, right?
Yeah, I mean, I like Butch.
I like Butch from the Bushwhackers, yeah. But You know, but yes, in reality, that's good. What's weird is they really been missing since WrestleMania. Like they haven't been put in a prominent role since then, which I find shocking.
Agreed. Agreed. But I mean, what are you going to do with Sheamus? I like having Sheamus on the show where the new world championship is going to be. I think he's a great contender for that.
That's true too. I think you need to like really level up your main event roster on Raw if you're going to have a new championship. I don't know what Roman Reigns is about to do. He takes breaks here and there. So SmackDown, I don't know what SmackDown's going to do. Gunther, if he stays on SmackDown in reality, or Austin Theory takes over, one of those guys, Gunther or Theory, have to become the face beyond Roman Reigns, because if he's taking month off at a time, well, what the hell are we doing here?
Right.
So, all right. Round number 7. Who you got?
I am going to pick somebody that you can put into any feud at any time, face, heel. It doesn't matter. He's going to do it, and he's reliable. I'm going with The Miz.
The Miz! Wow!
Imagine him in a feud with Grayson Waller. Imagine him in a feud with Seth Rollins. Imagine him in a feud singles with Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn. I'm thinking variety here. I like it.
Man, that's a really good pick. And that match, I know, with him and Seth Rollins a few weeks ago on Raw, everyone was praising it, and he even tweeted being like, "Yeah, stop saying that I'm nothing." And
correct.
And I think he's just so good at what he does, just like how Dolph Ziggler used to be, where you're so good at what you do that they're gonna just use you where they want to use you, and it doesn't really help you. It really hurts you in reality. And Miz is great at everything he does, but they keep feeding him to other people because they're trying to get other people over and become popular, and they just use him because he's so good at what he does. So in reality, great pick, but I feel bad for him because it's just like, can't he
underrated? Underrated. People don't appreciate him the way that they should.
Yeah, agreed. Another person I feel like who's not appreciated is my number 7 pick, who could be a great contender for the new championship, Bobby Lashley, number 7.
You took him from me.
Hey,
he was on my list.
Oh, well, yeah, should have picked him instead of the Miz. He's someone that I pray to God that they reform the Hurt Business. I asked MVP. I think everyone asked MVP at the WrestleMania press junket about this. Why did the Hurt Business break up? Why is Bobby Lashley not have a WrestleMania match? When can we see them back together? I even asked MVP about that WrestleMania, the first WrestleMania during the pandemic, when they only allowed half the audience there, and it rained for the first 20 minutes, and they had to stop, and they couldn't even. There's Samoa Joe and Michael Cole and ponchos sitting out there being like, and it was very exciting to hear him talk about Bobby Lashley just trying to like stay in the zone while they're like, I don't know if we're gonna have this WrestleMania because it's pouring out, but I love Bobby Lashley. So he's not my number 7 pick. Number 7. Number 8, though, we're in round number 8. Who do you have?
I'm going to pick Brock Lesnar. It's a 2-hour show. I don't need him every week. He's a draw. It's been confirmed. Why not? I'm picking Beastie.
Wow. That is a deep pick, too, especially in round 8. That is nuts.
Yeah, because Brock is now just having fun, it feels like. Like, you don't see him in the title picture all the time. Like, he's just having a blast, and I like this version of Brock Lesnar a lot.
I love me some cowboy Brock Lesnar.
I think everybody does.
Like that Brock, like we've seen the Brock Lesnar in Suplex City for so long that eventually people were, and he was world champion for so long too, it felt like, and everyone couldn't beat him, and eventually I think people were just like, oh, come on, can we just get this off of him? And now cowboy Brock Lesnar, everyone universally loves that guy.
Yeah, and when you book him the right way, look at Backlash. One of the matches that everybody's excited about is Cody and Brock. No title, no nothing, just a match because they don't like each other. When you book him the right way, Brock is a draw and people look forward to these matches.
Agreed. And I'm very excited to see what happens with Brock and Cody. But I'm going to go with someone who right now we haven't seen on TV since WrestleMania. I'm going to go with Asuka as my number 8 pick, because just like you said, The Miz can be plugged into any storyline at any time. I feel like Asuka is the saving grace of all women's matches all women storylines that they don't know what to do with. They just plug her in, and suddenly she becomes SmackDown champion or Raw Women's champion or the Women's Tag Team champion. She always seems to find a way back into the title picture because they don't know what to do with the people involved in those storylines.
Right, right. But she is good. She is good.
Oh,
And
it's 100%.
you can put her in any storyline at any time and it makes sense. Put her in the title picture immediately, it makes sense.
Yes. Agreed. We are in round
my dog agrees
9.
as well.
Oh, your dog is angry. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I picked Asuka, Roman.
Yeah, he's upset. He's upset now.
It's
He's
okay.
like, you're taking my mommy's picks.
Oh, snap. I am sorry for that. I am sorry for that. But we are in round 9 right now. Who do you have?
I'm going back down to NXT and I'm bringing Braun Breaker.
You piece of shit. I just wrote that down. I mean, that's a great pick, Isa. It's a great pick, you piece of garbage person.
We keep it real in this draft. We tell each other how we really feel.
I love you.
Braun Breaker is great, and I think he's main roster ready. I know they're gonna have him feud with Melo for whatever the next pay per view is, but I think Braun Breaker is main roster ready. I like this heel version of him. That spear he did on Carmelo Hayes this last Tuesday is living in my head rent free. I can see him in a lot of feuds with some of the people we talked about. I think it's a fun addition.
Wow, that is. And he's truly a heel because he spells breaker with 2 Ks. So that makes he's a real bad guy. He's a real bad guy. Now, I'm going to throw out a name that we haven't heard of in a very long time because of some random controversy, but I feel like she could make a surprise return. I have not read anything. This is just me hoping for the best. My round number 9 is former NXT Women's Champion, Mandy Rose.
Wow.
That's right.
That's my question mark, like you did to me with The Miz. I will say, okay, Mandy Rose in your top 10, got it.
I just think that could be a nice surprise, like not a Gable Stevenson surprise. That's too big. But having Mandy Rose back in the fold on the main roster immediately would send shockwaves. Like everyone expects, Cody and Roman and Rollins and Becky and big names like that. But when you start tossing in surprises, that's when people are going to be on Twitter and be like, holy shit, that was a great draft. But fucking Christ, did you see Mandy Rose is back? I'm not saying, who knows if it's going to happen. I'm just, wishful thinking on my side of the table.
Right. It would be great. I would love to see her.
Me too. I miss her. She was so good in NXT.
She was. And she had a great run. She won me over. I remember when they put the title on her, I was like, really? And then, man, it was so good. Toxic Attraction was great, and I will hope to see her back eventually.
Same. So we are in round number 10, the last round here on our mock draft here on 10 count. Who is your last pick?
Well, I'm looking at this roster, and I definitely don't want my show to always be Bianca Belair against Becky Lynch, so I'm going to add Damage Control. That's right, I'm taking 3. I'm going to take Io Sky, I'm going to take Dakota Kai, and I'm taking Bayley, just to fill up that women's division nicely.
Wow, that is a nice pick. We're going to get just a nice round table of Bianca beating up Damage Control all over again.
Oh. It's going to be great.
Yeah, it'll be great. Good TV. I just feel so bad for Damage Control. I feel like since when they came back at SummerSlam, everyone was so excited, and then I don't know. I feel like we never went into full gear. They didn't
Correct.
They kept losing and kept losing.
Yeah, it didn't feel like what we would say the machine has never been fully put behind them.
Yes. Yeah. No. It was very sad. I hope they end up doing something, but we'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see. We'll see. And my number 10, and he's someone that I love to death, and I really hope that we can see him again. And I guess it's a 2-for pick because it's gonna be Uncle Howdy and Bray Wyatt are coming to Monday Night Raw.
I was waiting. I was like, why hasn't he picked his favorite yet?
Oh, he is my favorite. Uncle Howdy. How'd you know he's my favorite? No, Bray Wyatt. I absolutely adore. We'll never, ever
please
say
do
a
your
bad
Bray
word
Wyatt
about him.
voice.
No.
Please,
I actually have been sick for like Since WrestleMania, I've
Okay,
been sick.
fine.
I've been sick since WrestleMania, probably from
Me too.
all the room service I took in from that week. But I would say Bray Wyatt and Uncle Howdy coming to Raw, doing something. No muscle man shit. I hated that so much. Let's just not do that. Let's just be Bray Wyatt, eater of worlds. Hey, man, Bray Wyatt, rocking chair, all that good stuff. So that's my number 10 pick. So let's break it down for you one more time. Isa's SmackDown picks the Bloodline. Seth Rollins, Bianca Belair, Kevin Owens, and Sami Zayn together. Grayson Waller, Becky Lynch, The Miz, Brock Lesnar, Braun Breaker, which actually I'd love to see that match, Braun versus Brock. And
Me too.
in Damage Control, on my side for Raw, we have Judgment Day, Cody Rhodes, Imperium, Austin Theory, Charlotte Flair, The Brawling Brutes, Bobby Lashley, Asuka, the returning Mandy Rose, and Uncle Howdy, and I guess Bray Wyatt will be there with him as well as my number 10 pick here on the mock draft here on Wrestling News Co. on 10 count. My God. Now, in reality, let's talk about the real draft for a second. Roman Reigns is obviously the number 1 draft pick, but you think the Bloodline will be split up?
I think Roman will be drafted singles. I don't know what they do with the rest of the bloodline, but I mean, obviously we made our rules. It's a mock draft, but I think Roman will be eligible as a single star, not with the whole faction.
Wow. And if anything, I like that idea, but I like the idea of hopefully on Friday on SmackDown when the draft happens, Roman gets picked. Usos and Solo and Paul Heyman don't get picked yet, so we have all weekend to like create articles and
Right.
create podcasts and create videos on will the Bloodline break up? Will they get picked on Raw? And then obviously I think they'll get picked together on Raw, but that whole weekend will create anticipation for the idea of will they, won't they?
I think somebody has to pick Solo by himself. I think that will be the real disruption of the bloodline, will be for a brand to pick Solo and split him so that we can see the real dissension of the bloodline, because Roman relies on Solo. The Usos are there, yes, but Roman trusts Solo. That's his guy. So I think keeping Solo away from Roman will really make a difference on what happens with the bloodline moving forward.
Well, we did see at WrestleMania that Roman Reigns actually didn't beat Cody Rhodes by himself. He needed Solo to help him, if you remember that night.
I'm pretty sure he pinned. I think he pinned Cody alone. Like, it was just Roman. So.
Oh, okay. I just want to make sure that you don't remember that night as clearly as the rest of us.
I remember it very. I mean, if it's a little bit blurry, it's because I had to like wipe your tears every 5 minutes. It was ridiculous. But I was trying to enjoy the moment with Roman, and you were crying next to me.
I was I was shocked. I think everyone on that floor that night.
Everyone but me.
Everyone was shocked but you. It's true. It was a night of sadness and happy tears for a lot of people, but it was a strange night. But yeah, I think
was happy.
And Cody and Roman separated makes sense, right? If you're not going to give Cody the win against Roman, you got to separate them.
Yep. Yeah, so, I agree.
We will see what happens on Friday and Monday for the draft.
Do you think, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but before we end, I just have a question. Do you think that we're going to go back to a real brand split? Or, because right now the draft feels weird to all of us because everybody goes back and forth between brands. So do you think that we're going to go back to 2016 and have a real brand split where people are just not allowed to go to each other's shows all the time? Because they broke that rule and everybody's everywhere now.
If the rumors are true, what I read online, which sometimes they are, sometimes they're not. It seems if I was working for USA or if I was working for Fox, you want, say, Roman Reigns to only be on SmackDown because that means you're going to tune in every Friday to watch him there. But if you're also advertising him for Mondays, well, wouldn't that make me go, well, I watched him on Monday. Do I really need to watch him on Friday? So I think splitting them down, a real split like 2016, where we also have separate pay-per-views, where we don't cross over. Because you'll see immediately when Roman is on the card of a pay-per-view and the new WWE World Heavyweight Champion are on the same card, Roman's the main event, and the Raw Championship is either second to last or in the mid card or beginning, or or opener, and everyone will find some bullshit way to say, well, it doesn't really matter. Well, it doesn't really matter. No, it does
They're
matter.
already saying it, and we haven't even crowned this champion.
Yes, perception is reality. And people kept talking about how it's not even the silver medal, it's the bronze medal because Roman has 2 belts.
Yeah.
So I hope it's split. I really hope it's split down the middle. I hope we actually do separate. I wouldn't even mind having 2 pay-per-views, 2 events in a month like they were doing before in 2016. I don't care.
Right.
I love the WWE. So if they want to pump out all this content for me, I will watch it. I will be there.
Same. And it made the Big Four mean more because that's the only time that you will see them kind of like be around each other.
Yes. That's how we got Jinder Mahal as world champion. Did that work as well as some people thought? No. But guess what? That's how we got James Ellsworth on TV more. That's how we got Bray Wyatt as world champion on SmackDown. That's how we got a lot of things because we separated and we were really separated.
Yep. I remember when I don't remember what pay-per-view it was, but it was like an interaction backstage and it was like the Usos, the New Day, and the club, and everybody went crazy because like you don't see them hang out with each other all the time. You want to see that match. I missed those years of television. I liked it.
Yeah. 2016 was a great year, I thought, for SmackDown especially, but Raw did really pretty well for itself. So I hope that it's a true draft, and I only can see Roman on SmackDown. I can only see Cody on Raw, and none of that bullshit. And if you want to have inter promotional matches, that's what Royal Rumble's for. That's what WrestleMania is for.
Right.
SummerSlam, Survivor Series. Bring back bragging rights if you want to as a pay-per-view where you have SmackDown versus Raw. I'm all for that, but keep them separate.
Yep. And I remember even the house shows were separate and people could just go and pick, what brand they wanted to go to. It was good times. I'm with you. I hope so as well.
Yeah. So we'll have to see how it all goes down. But in reality, I think both of us have very good draft picks because, again, it's the top 20 groups, tag teams, talent in the business right now in the WWE. No one on this list is a slouch except for Uncle Howdy.
Nope.
But no, I'm just kidding. I love Uncle Howdy, except for that Royal Rumble spot against LA Knight. I don't know what the hell he was doing.
That was weird. Yeah.
That was me looking down at my phone for a second, looking back up and going, did he just fall? I think he just fell. But in reality, it was a pleasure talking to Isa the Demon Diva from every single wrestling website that exists in humanity. She is on it all. She's probably on, what's it called? Band Army or whatever. And she's on OnlyFans. She's on every single social media account there is, probably even Blue Sky already. Did you get the Blue Sky invite?
No, I don't want it.
Okay.
I don't want it. I don't need, I really can't keep up posting in every single platform that I use now. Imagine adding another one.
I don't want to add another one either, but I will take that invite if you have one. Just kidding. But in reality, it has been a pleasure talking to you today about Raw and SmackDown. We'll see what really happens this coming Friday on SmackDown and then Raw following. And then, of course, me and you both will be live in Puerto Rico for Backlash, seeing Bad Bunny kick the crap out of Damian Priest. There's a community event. There are interviews. There are press conferences. We will be there. We will be celebrating. Hopefully, I'm not crying to a tissue when Brock Lesnar murders Cody Rhodes in front of my eyes. But we will have to wait and see. It's been a pleasure talking to you as always, and we will see you in Puerto Rico. Have a great day, folks, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.